So the issue isn't the effort that you're putting in, right? It's the organization. And this is where so many riders, understandably, go wrong. As someone who's ridden to Prix St. George, as someone who's ridden flat jockeys, I've ridden races, I really understand that feeling of when everything feels incredible, but I also understand that feeling of when you're sat on what feels like a car wreck, and no matter what effort you're putting in, it's not being resolved. One of the common things I see in riders that are going straight to pole work is that, yes, pole work can be fantastic. We do need more research on it to actually support why we're doing these fantastic, complicated exercises on the poles. But when the body isn't stabilized enough to organize it, there's another big misconception is what I'm thinking here. It usually doesn't mean you're doing the wrong thing. It usually means you're asking the right questions, just in the wrong order. Core conditioning in horses, probably one of the most talked about topics in horse training, and also one of the most misunderstood. So if you're trying to build a strong core in your horse, despite the pole work, the change of saddle, the vets coming out, you're doing all these exercises consistent in your training, I want you to hear this, okay? It is usually not that you're doing it wrong, it's just that you're asking the right questions, but just in the wrong order, okay? Today, on this episode, I want to help you see the why, okay? Having worked with horses around the world, so all the way from your happy hackers to Olympic level show jumpers and thoroughbred flat race horses. I've seen it all. I've seen all shapes, sizes. I love every single one of them, and I treat them all the same. I've noticed a pattern with owners saying, I need to build my horse's core. I need him to have a stronger core. I'm doing what my therapist has recommended and nothing is changing. When I watch these horses move, I realize something, okay? These horses aren't just weak. They're unstable. So what we're trying to do and what I see owners trying to do, they're trying to move the body, trying to put these pole exercises up, make them higher because you think that the higher the pole, the better the range of motion. But the girdles, the important parts of the horse, are so unstable. They are lacking stability, which is the foundation for that body to build strength and what people say core conditioning. So I'm going to strip it all back. Core conditioning is not about a horse having abs. It's the same in humans. You can actually have a pretty strong core and it be covered in a layer of fat, okay? I'm sure you know that. Core conditioning is definitely also not about this top line that we're all going on about. Top line is important depending on what you understand top line is. I think it's a little bit of a subjective statement unless someone explains it to you. It's definitely not about how high your horse can lift their legs. Core conditioning is the horse's ability to stabilize their body during movement. It's the quiet control that actually allows movement to happen well. Quiet control. That control only happens when there is stability. This leads to balance. It leads to regular rhythm that we're all seeking, okay? When a horse can't stabilize their spine, their pelvis, what we call the shoulder girdle, that's not just by the shoulder joint, that's the entire kind of front end of the horse, something has to take over. Usually it's the limbs. And thought for a moment, question. Why are we having so many tendon, ligament injuries in the distal limb? So the area of the horse below the carpus, the area of the horse below the stifle. Are we trying to push horses to lift their legs higher from an unstable axial skeleton above the carpus, above the stifle? That's the axial skeleton. So I've written a few things down here. When we apply that framework, which is what I see a lot, you can feel things like inconsistent contact, difficulty with transitions, a loss of balance on turns. You know what I mean. You go down the center line, you go to turn left, your horse feels straight up the center line. The minute you turn left, they collapse in through the rib cage, head tilts to the right, and you feel like you're a different horse. You feel like you've gone from one horse to three horses. You can see asymmetries that never quite resolve. make the poles higher, you get a bigger range of motion, and that's a better core workout. The little research that I have seen on this, and there is more research coming through, has actually been done more on horses from the ground and walk. And they show the difference in what happens to spine stability. Okay, we need a stable spine when we just increase the height of a pole. Like, a lot happens, and it's not necessarily what we think is good. So if a horse can like lift their legs higher but can't stabilize through the spine pelvis underneath, we're not conditioning, we're just rehearsing compensation. We're creating more issues, we're creating more tension, more offloading, more compensation. So just because a horse is tired at the end of a session doesn't mean the body has learned anything useful. Tired doesn't mean trained. So where would I start? Okay, Nika, you're sat there watching, you're saying, okay, you get all this, where do we go from here? If you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, just comment below. This is where I start instead. Drum roll, I would start by understanding what I call a horse's movement map. And I want to be so super clear here. This isn't a system or a checklist. A movement map is simply how your horse organizes their balance, their weight, their coordination in walk, trot, canter, rein back, over a jump. There are a few movement patterns that your horse can adopt. It's a way of seeing. You can observe it in how your horse does the transitions, how they actually move around a bend, how they move around a serpentine, a circle, over a jump, how consistent the rhythm is without the effort. See, once you see it, you can't unsee it, and suddenly it makes sense as to why your horse doesn't collect. It makes sense as to why they feel so blocked down the rib cage to the left. Guidance once, clarity forever. This is what I teach in the Horse Listener program. Currently, don't have any spots, but if you want to join the daily email list, which is where I send the opening for the offer, comment below or visit nikavoster.com and just join the Horse Listener waitlist. This is something that's best learned once through guidance, and it's genuinely not complicated. My brain doesn't function well with complication. I like to keep things super, super simple so that I can understand it. A 5-year-old can understand it. No, I'm not even kidding. I will use AI to say, explain this to me like a 5-year-old. I do this on purpose because I like things to be simple, and I like things to be simple so that I can put it into practice and learn from it quicker. Once you understand this way of seeing these movement maps, you can just apply it again and again and again to another horse, to a younger horse, to rehabbing a horse, to pole working, to jumping, to whatever it is. The discipline doesn't matter, okay? You stop guessing, you start observing, and those observations can then give you a clarity because of the framework that I've created. Whew! Okay, in summary, core conditioning is not about doing more. It's definitely not about making the poles higher or jumping the horse more. It's genuinely about understanding the body and what the body is actually ready for at that time. You don't need more exercises. You don't need clearer eyes. You don't need to become a new person. Yes, learning new skills is always great as a rider, as a person, makes you grow. But a lot of us, and I'm definitely in the same boat, when I'm feeling unsure, uncertain, I want to do something else. What's next? What's more? What's more? But usually in those times, it's actually good to do less, reflect, understand, and try again, something very small. If you want help, support, guidance on seeing a movement map, comment the word movement below. I'll send you through a link and you can understand the steps to what a movement map is. As always, thank you for listening. If you found this helpful, don't forget to give me a follow and subscribe, and share this with someone who might just be struggling with their horse.